hope you've been having a wonderful, wonderful week. And even if not, that's okay too. Oh man, it's been a comfort week in the garden this week. Just posted Tea Time 3 as the locked audio for the Patreon. It's where we sit together, brew some tea, and we hang out together, and I take you all through the life of Ludwig van Beethoven. We listen to some classical music together. So that was a nice comfort audio. It's like 50 minutes long or so, 49. And so that's available for keyholder bunnies, which is 18 plus only, or ages 18 to 800 only. And yeah, then we had a little comfort TikTok with a nice hug. And here we are, the podcast, every Friday, which is a big, long comfort session with just you and just me. Why don't you take a second to look around wherever you are, whether you're in your bedroom or in a car or at a coffee shop, on a walk. Where are you right now, little bunny? I want you to notice that I am here right now too, with you. Yes, right here. Where am I, little bunny? I'm in your ears. Where else would I be? And with that, let's take a breath together. I really want to get in touch with you. I can feel you, little bunny. Can you send me some love? Send me some love. There you go. There you go. Okay, I can feel you. I'm going to send you some love back now. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Sending all my love to you. And there you go. I want to talk today about when strangers are mean to you. Isn't that the worst? There's all kinds of ways people can be bad to you. And I guess I have interesting things to say about all of them. But today we're going to focus on what to do, how to deal with it. Or maybe I can just comfort you whenever maybe you're at work, if your job involves customers, like a coffee shop or a clothing store, and people can just be so horrible, generally strangers. And it could be someone on the street who maybe says something to you. Could be any number of people. Any kind of stranger. Oh, people online. Oh, people online are so mean. But it's okay. I'm going to help you interpret this and realize that maybe it's not that big a deal. Or more importantly, that it doesn't need to bring you down. It's okay, little bunny. If a stranger is mean to you, it's okay. I'll guide you through it. Now, I want to take a sip of my delicious decaf coffee. We are past 1 a.m. right now, but I'm feeling very energized, feeling very good about spending this time with you. I want to give you a really, really nice, long podcast. Let me take a sip. Oh wow, it's pretty hot. I almost burned myself. I really want to be good for you, little bunny. I want to get better and better and better at everything I make for you. And I just feel very motivated right now with this podcast. So, shall we get right to it? Oh yeah, I was going to tell you. Subscribe to the podcast. I don't want you to have to rediscover me every week. I want to be here as easy as possible to wear. You need me, you want me. It's just snap of the fingers right there. So, let's talk about strangers. So sometimes if a stranger is mean to you, we can interpret this as, like, maybe we should get a specific example. Well, I am going to tell it to you in the form of a little fantasy story, but before we get to that, it can feel like someone comes up to you and they say something mean, they're really rude to you, they dismiss you, they talk down to you like you're some lower form of human. Our subconscious can assume that they completely understand us, because we completely understand ourselves. We know our history, we know our personality, we know our place in the world more or less. Some stranger who comes up to you and is seeing you for the first time, if they say something mean to you, it's not a reflection on who you are. It's not that you are some sort of way that they hate. It's a reflection on them. They're just moving around as this ball of negativity, and you just kind of happen to be in the range of them, in this negative aura that they emit everywhere they go. And so it can feel like when this person with this aura where they're just spouting out negativity and mean things all over the place, they come into the room you're in, and then they see you for the first time, and they say something mean, they do something rude, they bring you down. On our end, or on your end, it can feel like somehow they see you fully, and they've appraised you, little bunny, and they know your whole history and everything about your personality and your wants and your desires and your insecurities. Everything about your identity and the struggles you've been through and the friendships you've had and the heartbreak and everything. And they say something mean, and you might internalize that and say, oh my God, they're seeing who I am and I'm being rejected. Not the case. This is an individual who is just being themselves outwardly, and you happened to be in range of it. And I'm sorry. So, let me tell you a story of you, little bunny. And in this, you'll be kind of like a humanoid bunny, I guess. Oh my God, little bunny. I saw, since the last podcast episode, the Cats movie from 2019. It is a blend of CGI and live action. And it got completely wrecked in reviews and public reception. Some people would call it the worst movie ever made. People really hate on it. I'm not going to recommend it because so many people disliked it, but I kind of enjoyed it, I have to admit. But one of the things that didn't land for a lot of people is they tried to strike a balance between depicting the people as a cat. There's all these celebrities, super celebrity cast. Like we'll take Taylor Swift, for instance. She has a song towards the end. You've got Taylor Swift, and she's got cat ears and a body of fur, but her hands are completely human and her feet are completely human with toes and stuff like that. And I think she's got whiskers, but she's got a human nose and human teeth and human lips. And it's had me like kind of wondering, in any kind of fiction where we're depicting you, little bunny, like where in this dial of, hold on one second. I'm back. In this spectrum of, you're a full bunny. Okay, they got little bunny nose, bunny eyes, hop around on all fours, okay? Maybe you're that bunny sometimes, which, by the way, Instagram now has figured out. that I do bunny stuff because it's nothing but bunnies now. Those kinds of bunnies. Or sometimes you're just pure human, not even a bunny ear. But when I hold you, I just call you my little bunny. And something inside you melts and purrs, I guess. I guess bunnies don't purr. So in this fantasy story, little bunny, you gotta help me out here. You gotta help me out. You are a bunny working in a flower shop in Renaissance fantasy land. What do you look like? I really want to know. A successful humanoid bunny combination is in Final Fantasy, the Viera. Or these bunny people. And that turned out really well. So maybe it's doable. But anyway, you, little bunny, however you picture yourself in this spectrum of human to bunny, are working in a magic flower shop. And your job with these magic flowers is to chat with a customer who comes in, and you help figure out what kind of flowers they want. And you give it to them with a smile and with summoning all the joy in your heart. And these flowers, when you hand them off, there's something magic about how when you give those flowers, a little bit of you sticks with them. Can you imagine that? Let's say there's a cat. Hold on one second. Okay, let's say there's some combination of some humanoid cat is coming in, and they want some flowers to take home to cheer themselves up. Let's say maybe they're having a bad day, having a bad week, and with a smile you say, it's okay too. It's okay when there's a bad day or a bad week. Here, take these golden tipped flowers. And you grab this little bouquet of flowers, and they bloom to perfect gold as you hand them off with your bunny hand, which is either a paw or has human-like fingers. You might want to look up what the Cats 2019 movie looks like so you understand. And so then that cat smiles and sniffs those golden tipped flowers that you made so beautifully perfect for them by summoning all the love inside you, which you're so good at as a little bunny. You love on such a deep level, and you love so well. And that's how you got the job at this flower shop, is that you're just the best at giving these flowers. That's your job, to give the flowers. And so the cat person goes off back home. And it's almost closing time. And it's been a good day. And your boss is proud of you. And you're like mopping, and you're about to lock the front door when in comes a fly man. Is it going to be a fly or a cricket? I think we'll do cricket, actually. In comes a cricket man. And he's got dark circles under his eyes and a kind of a scowl like this. Can you imagine what kind of face I'm making? But not a sexy way. Not like in a Playtime audio on Patreon, which is ages 18 to 800. The Patreon is about 1/3 spicy, 1/3 comfort, and 1/3 wild card. Any kind of random stuff I can come up with. So this cricket man, who would never be able to find the garden, because he has this aura of hate about him, He comes into the flower shop. He says, "You, don't close the door on me. I deserve to be in here." Am I making him too hot? Okay. Don't imagine him as hot, even if my voice gets kind of hot. Okay, he says, "Don't let me in. I deserve to be here." He's like, "I want flowers." And you say, "Okay, sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Come on in." I think actually he's coming in after closing. I think so. I think you had closed. You had turned the sign to say closed, And you'd even locked the door, and you're mopping, and that's when he like bang, 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 bang with his like little cricket. Whatever. Maybe it's like, it looks like he's banging really hard because he just has like a cricket hand. It just kind of goes like, but it's very ominous, and he makes up for it with his body posture, and he kind of like shakes around. He kind of like moves his head side to side as he's like very lightly tapping on the glass, although it's as hard as he possibly can. And you come over, and he bursts inside, and he says, "Give me flowers." And you're like, "Okay, sure, yeah, we're closed actually." It's like, "Shut up. I'm in charge here. I'm the customer. I'm right. You're nothing. You're worthless. Now give me flowers." And you're like, "Oh my God." And you're shaking. You're like, "Oh, holy shit. I'm not used to being treated like this." But you walk over and you find some flowers. You find some nice orange ones that you think you might like I know nothing about flowers, but maybe they're like a little cylindry tulip. What are tulips like? Let me look up tulips. I feel like I want to say they're orange tulips. Yeah, I think I got it right. 1 second. Okay, so you get some orange tulips. And you're like getting ready to hand them to him. And you're summoning all the joy that you have because you think, well, I still want to do a good job even though this cricket man is being really mean to me. You still want to do a good job and bloom these flowers as you hand them over to him. You summon all the joy. And he says, "I hate you. You suck at this. You're so bad. You're worthless." And you try and do your job and summon all the good feelings you can. But the flowers wilt in your hands. And the orange turns to brown. And they wrinkle. And they droop. And with a shaking bunny paw or oddly humanoid hand, you pass the flowers off to the cricket man. He snatches them away, so much that your hand flies to the side and you stumble back onto your hind paws. Help me figure this out, little bunny. Are you a human? How human are you as a bunny in this? Are you full bunny or are you part human, part bunny? And if so, like, what are your hands like? And do you have a bunny nose? These are things I gotta know. This is the kind of stuff that I concern myself with a lot these days. Do you have human ears in addition to bunny ears, or do you have bunny ears instead of human ears? Okay. You gotta help me answer these questions, little bunny. This is us creating the garden together. Oh, by the way, I received some wonderful bunny art via email from last week's podcast. It was a sketch of the story I told you. Was it last time or 2 weeks ago? It was avoiding burnout. There was like a story with a dragon and stuff like that. You can always email me stuff like that. Lindy@lindysgarden.com or daddy@lindysgarden.com, whichever you prefer. There's no punctuation in that, by the way, besides the @ and the dot. So, yeah. So, Mr. Cricket snatches it, and he does pay you. He doesn't steal it, but he throws the money on the ground in front of you. he bursts out the door and runs away. So you go to the ground and you start crying as you pick up the coins that Mr. Cricket Man threw on the ground after being so rude to you. And you have a crisis where you say, what did I do to deserve being treated that way? Was I bad to him? Am I ugly? Does he hate bunnies? Did I do something to him before? Like maybe he remembers me from somewhere. Did I do something bad to him on the street and he came to take revenge? Or do I have a bad personality? Am I someone who just invites people being mean to me like this? What do I need to change about myself? Because I don't want to feel this way. I don't want this. People like this Cricket Man to come in here and just wreck my mood and be so horrible to me. And your boss is no longer there, so you can't talk to her about it. And it's just you closing up shop, and you were going to meet some of your fellow bunnies who were going to go out to the tavern and listen to a concert by Atlas the Bard. But you lock up and you can't summon the energy to go out and be social. You feel so bad. So you just walk home through the city streets. It's night now. There's still lanterns with candles, flickering flames. It's safe in this capital city for the most part. You're not worried about your safety, but it does feel like the night wants to eat you alive. Just walking down the cobblestone streets, turning onto your street, going down the familiar, past the familiar doors, and you get to your door and you take out your key and you can't help but cry as you open it up and you go inside. Give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah. And you lie down. You think, what is wrong with me? What did I do to deserve to be treated like this? And it really hangs heavy on you. Next day, before you know it, you're waking up to your alarm clock. Your alarm clock is, it says, wake up, little bunny. Get out of bed. That was an early locked audio, by the way. Is reminder sounds for your phone to like set it to be like the end of a timer, or reminder sounds, or like a morning alarm. Maybe I'll do that again. That was a wild card. Locked audio. Patreon post. So you wake up with one of your daddy alarm wake ups. And you go on back to the flower shop. And your boss is there and she says, everything good with closing up yesterday? And you're like, yeah, it's fine. No issues. No problem. She says, good. Okay, great. It's going to be a busy day, so make sure you bring your A game. Handing those flowers and being so good at what you do, which is to bloom them as you hand them off to the customer. Your boss says, little bunny, you are the best that I've ever had. It was so right to hire a little bunny for this job. And you kind of smile weakly. And first customer comes in. It is a famous tap dancing ladybug. And she has a partner who always forgets to buy her flowers and stuff like that. And she has a performance tonight, so she's here to buy herself the flowers that are going to be thrown on stage to her. So she needs to buy the flowers to give her partner, who can then surprise her with flowers in her performance tonight. And you say, oh, I know just the ones for you. How about these rainbow sprinkle flowers? It looks like fiesta. And you go over to these white flowers. I feel like they're daisies. Let's look at what daisies look like. You would think a guy who has a garden should know what flowers look like. I didn't even make that connection until now, that this is a flower shop. Daisies. Okay, hey, hell yeah, your daddy knows what daisies are. Okay, good start to founding a garden. Learn what daisies are. Okay, so you go over to these rainbow sprinkled daisies and you say, these are going to be marvelous. It's going to look so good as they go on stage. And you say, I'm going to give you extra ones and I'm going to put it in this little, tie it in such a way to where when you throw it up in the air, it's going to shoot out in all different directions. And the stage is going to get showered with these rainbow sparkle sprinkled daisies. And the ladybug tap dancer says, little bunny, you are the best florist there is. And so you grab them together. And as you give the flowers to the tap dancing ladybug, you remember that cricket man from last night. And you think, I'm not that great at this. I'm not that great a person. I'm not that great a bunny. Should I even be here? Should I even be doing this? And the flowers turn a little gray as you hand them off to the tap dancing ladybug. And she looks a little surprised at this. She doesn't say anything. She's polite and she's not mean, but you know that she notices that the flowers look a little more dull and slightly more wilted than they otherwise would have when you'd handed them over. And she thanks you with a bit of a labored smile. She wants you to feel that she's happy, but she knows something's up. And she pays and hands you the money and makes sure to give you a good smile. And then she walks off and you see the smile disappear just when she thinks that you can't see her anymore. And you feel so bad about this. But you try and toughen yourself up. And sure enough, next customer is coming in. And it is the cat from yesterday whom you got oh God, what did you get them? Did you get them gold? Shoot. I don't know. They want some new flowers. 1 second. So they come in and they say, oh, little bunny, those flowers you gave me yesterday were just the greatest part of my evening. It really picked me up. And I want to have some more flowers to make me happier, so that if today still doesn't go well, and if this week doesn't get any better, at least I'll have some flowers from you. And you like this cat a lot, as I do too. And you find her some other flowers. What do you get her? I don't even know any more flowers, little bunny. Let's go to chat.open.ai, which you should be, I guess it's just chatgpt.com. Okay. Maybe it was always that. You should be using ChatGPT not to write stuff for you, but just to chat with and to learn how AI works, because that will be very useful for you. So, hey, actually, let's do it. Yeah, we'll just do it here. Okay. Hey, what are some fun types of flowers? Give me a very short Let's be concise. Sunflowers. I don't like sunflowers that much. Delilahs. Delilahs, and the third one is a good one, which I won't say yet. What does a Delilah look like? Okay, that is a person. Flower. Oh, they're beautiful. Oh my God, look at her Delilah. Oh wow, this might be my favorite flower. Wow. Oh my God, little bunny. I made a TikTok a long time ago, which was, if I were a flower, what kind of flower would I be? And of course, it's like the common ones are white rose and black rose, which are nice. I actually bought a white rose because of that video, a fake one. But wow, look at Delilah's. Wow. Oh, that looks so good. Okay. So you say to this this cat, you say, oh, you know what? My daddy likes Delilahs. Maybe I'll get you some Delilahs. So you go over and you find some pink Delilahs. And are they usually do they usually put them in a group, or is it just one? Let's say it's just one Delilah. So you go pick one Delilah. And you, as part of your job, you summon all the positive energy that you can. And you hand this Delilah over to the cat. But just as you are handing it off, you think of how mean that Mr. Cricket Man was to you last night. And the pink fades a little bit to a shrivelly maroon. And maroon is beautiful too. That's the color of the flower of your right-hand bunny, little bunny. If you want to make friends with your fellow bunnies, you can join the Discord community, which is part of the Patreon. And as a reminder, it is to ages 18 to 800 only. So if you're not between the ages of 18 and 800, do not join. So you hand this flower, and it goes to a brown, because maroon flowers are beautiful. But it goes to a brown. I guess brown flowers are beautiful too. But the point is that there's a sadness that comes with this flower now. Because these are magic flowers, remember. Part of what these flowers can do is they can hold on to the positive emotion that you give. And just as they can be containers of positive emotion, these magic flowers can be containers of negative emotion. And so as you hand off what was a pink Delilah, it becomes a brown and wilted Delilah. Just a little bit. It's not all the way there. But the happiness is tinged with some sadness now. And the cat sees it. And the cat gives you eyes that are caring. Instead of the ladybug who is nice to you and wants to be polite, this cat is suddenly taking an interest in how you're doing. And they're concerned for you. And she says, Are you all right, little bunny? And you want to lie. You want to say, yeah, no, it's nothing. But for some reason with this cat, you feel like you can be a bit honest. And you say, yeah, some customer was really mean and bad to me. Not just mean, but bad to me last night. And the cat looks at you with caring eyes. They say, I'm so sorry. I'm sure they didn't mean it. They must have just had a bad day. They're not like that. And the cat says, but thank you for the flower. I should be getting on my way. And she exits the store. Your boss comes over and says, what's going on? Why are these flowers wilted? And your boss is kind, but she also knows how to run a business. She's not okay with the wilted flowers going out. And you're too nervous to tell her about that bad customer, because maybe she's going to think that there was a problem with you. If there's a bad customer, maybe you are a bad employee to them. Maybe you didn't serve them the way you're supposed to be serving them. So you say, oh, no, I had a nightmare last night and I'm just trying to shake it off. Your boss is understanding, but understanding plus needs you to perform well. So she gives you a reassuring pat and some words of comfort, and then some eyes of, come on, let's get this together. And so you pull it together. Actually, you are good at your job, little bunny. And you remember your daddy say that things don't always have to be going well for your mood to be okay. So things can be bad, but you can recognize it's just an emotion. And emotions don't need to control you. Often it's impossible not to feel the emotions. But to give in to the emotions, especially the negative ones, and just make them wreak even more havoc. Let them snowball you into a bad place. Your daddy says, no, little bunny. Don't let your brain do that. There's a negative emotion. Great. Wonderful. So you were able to do a decent job for the rest of the day, and you hand off your flowers, and they're not as bright and sparkly as they normally are, but they're not wilted anymore, and you're feeling secure and proud of yourself. And by the time we're closing shop, you feel like you've put that Mr. Cricket Man away, and you can move on and be happy again. Goes the little cricket hand on the window, and you whip around, and the blood drains from your face, and you feel a sick feeling in your stomach as the sickly grin of the grasshopper man with the big eyes and the darkness under his eyes. He goes, open up. That certainly wasn't sexy. Open up. Open up the safe, bitch has got a lot to say. Whatever the lyric is. That was a trend. Oh, no. Made TikTok. Okay. So he says, open up the door, little bunny. I got a flower to buy. And, so you want to just not open up, but you think of your boss and what she might say if you didn't let a customer in. And so you go over, you open up, and he bursts through, and he even gives a evil laugh. He's like, I can do a better evil laugh, but he's not deserving of your daddy's incredible evil laugh. He gets the B evil laugh. So he says, I want more flowers. I want your favorite flower. And you're kind of like shocked, and you go over to the white rose, which is what you told your daddy resembled him, and you get the rose, and it outstretched to him. You say, here you go, here's my favorite flower. And he says, you don't deserve to be given flowers. You don't even deserve that flower you hold right now. You're worthless. and you feel the white flower wilt. Not even to black, but to kind of a beige. Looks like a toasted marshmallow, except much less appetizing. And he snatches it and does his bee villain laugh. And he runs out the door. And your boss is still there, and your boss says, "Hey, little bunny, did that cricket man pay?" And you realize, oh my God, he didn't pay. And she says, "Run after him, go get the money." And so you burst out the door, and you're running. Either on all fours or on 2 human feet. And you see the cricket in the distance, and he's running away. And I think he's like a legit cricket. Yet somehow I think he's standing on his hind legs. And so you're running. And you see him dart down an alleyway. And you speed up and you follow him. And you say, "Hey, wait, you gotta pay. But either he doesn't hear you, or who knows, he's darting. And then he goes down another alleyway. And you run. And you follow him. And then you just see a screen door slam. And Mr. Cricket is gone. And you wonder did he go into that door? It's the door of an apartment. So it must be where he lives if he did go there. Certainly the chase is done and hold on. Okay, certainly the chase is done. You go over and you think about knocking on the door or just opening and sneaking in. But you go to the window first. Sorry, 1 second, little bunny. Okay, let me take a sip of coffee. And you look in the window, and you can peek through the curtain, and you see a cauldron, little bunny, with a little fire under it. A stone cauldron, and inside is some kind of soupy liquid that is bubbling. It's very viscous. Is viscous the word? I can never remember if high viscosity means it's like soupy or if low viscosity means it's soupy. But either way, it's like thick and rich, and it's bubbling a kind of swamp green. It's a small cauldron. It's like the size of a mug. And you see the Mr. Cricket Man come into view. So he is in there. And he, one by one, pulls off. 1 second. I'm back. He, one by one, pulls off the white petals and drops them in. And as the white petals, I guess they're now beige, the toasted marshmallow looking petals, float down. And it combusts and shrivels up like it's in agony, the petal, as it hits the surface of the bubbling potion. And Mr. Cricket Man picks another petal and there's swirly vapors rise from the cauldron as this happens. And you're enchanted, kind of horrified even. This Mr. Cricket is brewing a potion with your flowers, little bunny. What does this potion do, you wonder? And after all the petals have been put in the potion, Mr. Cricket Man stirs it around with a stick. It's with a chopstick, I think. And then he throws the chopstick on the ground. And he lifts the cauldron up somehow, even though it's really hot. I guess he has heat resistance. This cockroach has a heat resistance. Actually, no. He puts on little mitts. But instead of the shape of a hand, they're just like, I guess they kind of look like condoms or something. Like, it's like oven mitts, but they're just little cylinders. And he does have a high tolerance for hot liquid, and he just downs it. Sorry for those sounds. Hashtag ASMR. And he exhales. Clearly it wasn't delicious. And then he flops onto the couch, and he proceeds to do nothing. He sits there. Just sits there. And you wonder if you should go in and check on him. He's just sitting motionless on his couch. And you consider, is he okay? And you knock on the door with your body part, which may be a paw or a hand. And then you look over back to the window, and Mr. Cricket Man's not moving from the couch. And you get concerned, so you try and open the door. It's open. Yeah, okay, it's open. You go inside. And you go over to the couch. And he's looking out into the distance in just an empty stare. You kind of like wave your hand. You say, Mr. Cricket Man, are you okay? Okay. And he kind of looks. Eventually he does recognize you're there, and he says, oh, you. I hate you. You suck. And somehow seeing him say this here in his apartment, it doesn't hurt you as bad. Because you look around and there's chopsticks littered all along the ground. And there's dishes piling up in his sink. And the dishes are even, in fact, just like his trash is overflowing with Chinese food takeout, which is wonderful, but throw away your Chinese food takeout after you're done with it. And there's flies all over, and the carpet is filthy, and there's stains everywhere, and there's bad smells coming from the refrigerator, and you open it up, and there's just like one moldy thing of cheese in there, and it's mostly empty. And you turn back to Mr. Cricket Man, and he says, you suck, I hate you, you're the worst. And you realize that he's just kind of being himself. And maybe it's not a problem with you, but this is just the life that he has, and he carries it with him wherever he goes. It's like this apartment that's not being cared for. That's inhabited by someone who's really given up on life and who clearly isn't happy. It seems like this has just visited your flower shop, and you happened to be on the licking end of it. But now in this context, you're the flower shop coming here. And you say, Mr. Cricket Man, what is that potion you drank? Do I need to get you some medical help? And Mr. Cricket Man kind of like looks away again and is lost in his own nothingness. And you see a recipe, potion recipe. And what is the recipe called? Little bunny, this potion recipe. It's called, I don't know if it's like a hate potion or something. We'll name it later. But in the ingredients, You have to have the unhappiness of other people. And that's why he came to your flower shop. Because remember handing over the flowers. Most people come in there because you can imbue it with joy when you hand those flowers over. Mr. Cricket Man came to the flower shop and he brought you down because he needed your negative emotion so he could brew his potion. And the potion takes the unhappiness of others and it makes Mr. Cricket Man feel more normal for hating life. That maybe if everyone else is unhappy, that just kind of brings a balance to his life. That he's not out of the ordinary for having given up. He's not the odd one for being mean. When he makes this potion, it feels like everything is horrible. Everyone is unhappy. That makes him feel, at least, like he can get through the day. And you decide it's time for you to leave Mr. Cricket's apartment. And you're a little shaken, but now that you have the context, you feel just a little bit wiser. You still feel bad, but it's not so much bad about yourself. You just feel bad for the circumstances. And you're trying to figure out whether you feel bad for Mr. Cricket Man. Because on the one hand, he is unhappy and you don't want people to be unhappy. But on the other hand, he's been taking it out on you and probably on other people. You realize that he barely knows who you are. You're really nothing to him. And you're kind of glad of that. He must go around being mean to so many people to get these ingredients for his potion. And you go back home. You think about going out to party with your friends and see Atlas the Bard sing some songs, but you feel a little bit like that's not the right vibe right now. So you go back home and you journal. You journal like your daddy tells you. Not just what happened today, but how you feel about things. And then you fall asleep and you dream of the cat woman who comes to the flower shop. And then your daddy says, "Wake up, little bunny. Get out of bed. Wake up, little bunny. Get out of bed. Wake up, little bunny." And you tap around on your alarm clock with your bunny paw or human hand. And then you are out the door to the flower shop. And you get there and you start handing out flowers. And your boss is so happy with you because the flowers you're handing are shining once again. Brilliant flowers are being handed out and everybody is happy. They're all coming to this flower shop to get this item that has happiness imbued in it. They can go and they can take it. The tap dancing ladybug comes back and says, "Oh, those flowers were a hit." And you say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, those got wilted a little bit." And she says, "Oh, it's totally okay. We all have our days. I want another set of them because I'm going to surprise my partner with them because they are doing a stand-up comedy night, an open mic night." And she says, "I want to support my partner with throwing some flowers on stage." And so you say, "Here we go. Let's do some more of the dandelions. dandelions. What are they called? Rainbow sprinkled dandelions. And you hand it off with such happiness. And the ladybug, tap dancing ladybug, does a little tap dance out the door and gives you a wink and then runs down the street. And various other customers are coming in and out. Your boss comes over to compliment you and says, "Great job, little bunny. Great job. You're making so many customers happy and you're doing right by the business." And then your favorite customer, I think, the cat woman comes in and she says, what did she say? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. 1 second. Okay, so she comes in and she says, "Hey there, little bunny. Are you feeling any better than yesterday?" And you say, "Oh, of course, yeah, I'm doing great." She says, "What was wrong? What happened?" And you say, "Oh, no, it's nothing. It's fine. And she says, "No, I really care. I care how you're doing." And you say, "Oh, well, if you must know, there was a customer who turns out wanted unhappy flowers from me. So he was really mean to me so that I would give him unhappy flowers. So he could go home and brew this potion that makes him feel a little bit better about having given up on life. And I guess it doesn't matter to him that it comes at the expense of other people. But that's what happened. That's why I was so unhappy yesterday." And she says, "Oh, I know that, Mr. Cricket." Or she says, "Was that a cricket by any chance?" And you say, "Oh, yes, it was. Do you know him?" And she says, "Oh, yeah, he's in my support group, actually." And you say, "Oh, my goodness, wow, I guess that's a twist that the storyteller just came up with." And the Catwoman says, "Yeah, I mean, I don't have a great bond with him or anything. And we shouldn't talk about what happens in support group anyway." And you say, yeah, of course. Yeah, I wouldn't want to betray that. But the cat woman says, "But he was like really mean to you or what?" And you explain how you went over to his place and he had really given up on life and there was trash everywhere and moldy food in the fridge and just like a grimy place that has not been cared for. And the Catwoman says, "I hope you won't judge him, actually." And you feel a little bit taken aback and guilty for a second because you had been judging him for having all this trouble with his living situation. The Catwoman says, "You know, if you saw my apartment, you might be judging me because I have dishes piled up and my refrigerator has expired food in it and I haven't taken out the trash in at least a couple weeks. And, you can see some sadness in the Catwoman. And you say, "I'm so sorry. So sorry." And the Catwoman says, "Well, that's why I come to the flower shop to see you. It's because when you hand me these flowers and I bring them back to my apartment, I can't bring myself to clean up. I can't bring myself to cook. I feel so lonely, all these things. But I have your flower there, whatever flower you picked out for me that day. And it helps me get through the night and on to the next day. She says, thank you so much, little bunny. And this surprises you, doesn't it? And you think about this throughout the rest of the day. The cat woman doesn't want to take more of your time, so she thanks you and she heads out. And you imagine her going back to an apartment quite the same as Mr. Cricket Man. And you go about the rest of your day, and you do a good job, and your boss is pleased. And you say, what happens here, little bunny? Storyteller. Storyteller needs a moment. Let me take a sip of coffee. You go to your boss and you say, by the way, I want to explain why I was doing such a bad job at work yesterday. Or 2 days ago, it was yesterday. And you explain Mr. Cricket Man. And your boss says, oh, little bunny, we will not deal with customers like that in my shop. And you say, oh my God, I was so worried that you didn't want to lose a customer. And the shop owner says, little bunny, it's okay. This is a business, but it's a business about spreading joy. And that includes to you. So that customer is henceforth banned from this flower shop. And you say, thank you so much. And you think about this because you're going to journal about it later. Just as you're closing up shop, you're ready for Mr. Cricket Man to appear. But fortunately, and because your storyteller doesn't want to deal with another scene with Mr. Cricket Man, he doesn't show up. And so I think you go out. Yeah, you want to go out to see Atlas the Bard. Why not? You go out with friends and you go catch a set from Atlas the Bard, and you and your friends dance and you have fun and you feel grateful for them. And you think back to the cat woman who you think might be alone in her apartment right now with your flower smiling at the happiness your flower is bringing. And you're dancing with your friends here and you feel a tinge of sadness. And you think of Cricket Man 2 in his apartment. And you feel a tinge of a different kind of sadness. And then you go home and you do a bit of journaling before bed. And how do I? Your daddy is losing steam. No, he's not. No, he's not, little bunny. Your daddy is going to take a sip of coffee before we bring this to a close. You journal and you say, what do I want to do? Do I want to reach out to Mr. Cricket Man and help make his life better so maybe he doesn't go around being mean to people? Because you know that Mr. Cricket Man, even though he didn't show up at your shop, he's going around being mean to other people. That's not the first time he's made that potion, and it's not the last time he will. Should you go out of your way to try and help Mr. Cricket Man get back on his feet and realize he doesn't have to be mean to everyone? You think about that, you journal about that. And then you say, do I want to reach out to the fox woman, sorry, not fox, a cat woman, and see if I can help make her life better or something. Or should I not try and fix other people? Maybe I should not reach out to either of them, and I should just kind of go on with my life. And you want a reply on this one. So you fold it up and you say, to my dear daddy, Lindy. You give a kiss on it and you set it on the windowsill. And a moment later, it folds itself into an origami bird, like an origami crane, or some other origami that flies. But like a bird. And it flies off. And you know that your daddy will give you a reply. And so you fall asleep. And the next day, there's a note that you have waiting for you on your bedside table. It says, "Dear little bunny." Or it says, "To my little bunny." You open it up. And it says, "I hear Atlas the Bard is playing another show tonight. He's..." Oh, I'm running on empty, little bunny. Here we go, Daddy. Almost there. Almost there. He says, he's going to sing a song about cats. And do you know any cats who might want to come? Okay. And then you go to work and the cat woman comes in and you get her a nice pink Delilah. And you say, "Hey, by the way, my friends and I are going to go out and see Atlas the Bard tonight. It's going to sing some song about cats. I wonder if, I feel like we should have a cat in our friend group to go see Atlas the Bard sing about cats." And so you and the cat woman go out with the friend group and to Atlas the Bard. And Atlas the Bard says, "This song is dedicated to all those who have tough lives, but who, instead of taking it out on other people through anger and negativity, this is dedicated to you, who doesn't give up and who chooses happiness as the way out." And you look over to your new cat friend as Atlas the Bard sings a song about cats. And you see her cry a little happy tear of feeling like she's being spoken to directly. Funny how that song has that power. The power of Atlas the Bard. And I guess that's how you made your latest friend. And she ended up learning of your dear daddy. Or it came to more Atlas the Bard. We're still working on this fictional universe, little bunny. We're still working on it. Anyway, she is able to clean up her apartment, take out the trash, get rid of the flies. She even shampooed the carpet. She did lots of scrubbing with cleaning solution, things like that. Cleaned out the fridge, including wiping it down. And got some fresh food, some fresh fruits and things like that. Some carrots and hummus and some Greek yogurt. And even though she couldn't bring herself to cook all these meals, it was too much right away, she did manage to feel like she's taking care of herself. And 1 year later, or within the next year on your birthday, she surprises you by giving you a flower. And it shines bright with happiness. And you take it from her. You say, "Thank you so much. I'm so glad you became my friend." And you say, "How's Mr. Cricket Man doing in that support group?" And the answer to that will have to wait for another episode that I might talk about support groups. So, little bunny, there you go. Moral of the story is, do not go trying to fix the lives of Mr. Cricket Mans. If they are mean to you, that's on them, not on you. And cherish the cat women in your life. And make new friends. Sometimes you got to be the brave one to make the move or to reach out to an acquaintance and say, "Hey, do you want to go see Atlas the Bard with me?" Okay, little bunny, there is your story. I think that was pretty good, right? Okay, I'm going to get to bed, and then I will be here tomorrow morning to write you a poem. Take care. I'll be right back. Hey there, little bunny. I slept very well. Thank you for asking. I have a nice short poem for you, and I will send you on your way. It goes like this. When a stranger degrades you, they're not appraising who you are. That stranger is announcing to all in earshot who they are. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, little bunny. I love you. I love you. I love you.